I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about what's the point of trying?
I understand this feeling.
What's the point?
What even is the point?
Yeah. When you're in a situation that feels like it's never going to turn around, sometimes you feel like giving up. Sometimes you really question what you're doing, what your motivation is, and why you're doing it. And when you're in that state, you know, it's not going to help you in growing, in changing, and getting yourself unstuck. So while it's totally understandable to feel discouraged about getting your ex back or turning things around, maybe even thinking about those things like, well, what's the point of even trying to get this person back? Mm-hmm. Or would it even matter if I got them back or not? I mean, sometimes we can get so depressed we don't even know if it would matter. Or if you're really depressed, you think, well, what's the point of doing this work? They're not coming back anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, you got to do it for yourself, ultimately. You got to focus on growing and making positive changes for yourself. Now, you might be in the place where you only want to do it to get your ex back, but you really want to grow beyond that and do it for you.
Yeah, and it's tough to get to that place, especially right after a breakup. Some of the points that we'll be talking about today in this video are from Dr. Jonice Webb. She has lots of articles on Psychology Today. She's also an author and talks a lot about childhood emotional neglect. So if that is something that you're interested in learning more about, please check her out and look at some of her work. I think she's incredible. I do want to start out to say that some of these thoughts of what's the point, why does it matter, they can stem from depression. So we're going to take some of what this article brings up and relate it to breakups, because that's what this channel is all about. So some of these thoughts, like what's even the point or why does it even matter, stem from depression. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of us become depressed after a breakup.
I think most people, at least if you've been broken up with.
Right. Yeah. And especially if you had a lot of hopes and dreams and plans with the person.
Oh, yeah.
For all of that to then be shattered and you have to create your own new idea of the future can be really hard. And so what this looks like to me, it does look like a bit of anhedonia, which I'm not sure if you've heard this word before, but it basically means a loss of interest in the things that used to interest you. It can also be just a loss of interest or will to do anything at all. And that to me sounds like, what's the point of trying? Why should I even care? Why should I even bother?
Yeah, I remember like going through one of my breakups, that loss of pleasure from the things that you like to do, whether it's your hobbies or interests. Like I'm a big Yankee fan, and the Yankees were in the playoffs. I didn't even care. I didn't even watch any of the I didn't care, which, you know, was not like me to not care. But when I was going through it, it was just so difficult that I didn't care about a lot of different things.
Right. And you also feel so tired when you're depressed. This is something that we also talk about a lot, is that the work that we talk about so often can be so exhausting. So you might be thinking, well, what's the point? And it takes too much energy to do this. It takes too much energy to care or to try.
Yeah.
And so we understand that after a breakup, you might be depleted.
And you're kind of thinking like, these things don't matter. The only thing that matters is to my connection with that person. Why am I going to worry about, you know, whatever hobby or interest it was that you did that may have contributed to the breakup? Oh, I used to go play basketball 4 nights a week, and God, now I don't even care about basketball. Why did I do that? Now that's what caused me to lose my relationship. So now it's like, why would you want to go play basketball? Now you're like, I never want to play basketball again.
Yeah.
All I want is my ex back.
Yeah, you become very narrow-minded after a breakup sometimes. And it can also change your view of the future. You start to view the future as something dreary, that negative things are going to happen. And there's this concept in psychology that your mood can change your perception of future events. So if you are in a negative mood, you're more likely to think that negative things are going to happen to you rather than being in a positive mood. And so what's the point of trying? Things are going to be bad anyways. I'm still going to be depressed. I'm still not going to be happy. And so these can be some of the thoughts that are underlying the statement. And you might also have that idea that nothing will change. It can also reflect a deeper, more existential type of depression that's questioning, why am I here? Why am I existing? Why does any of this matter? Why does life matter? If this is you, we highly encourage you to get professional help somewhere local in your area, talking to a therapist, talking to somebody who can help you work through some of those really challenging feelings.
Absolutely.
Some other places that these types of thoughts can stem from are also frustration, resentment, and anger. We might be thinking, if I don't care or if I act like I don't care, then I am somehow shielded from any more hurt and pain that my ex has caused me.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of this bitterness and resentment in the comments sometimes from, other people who are tired of caring because they've been hurt so much. You're scared of being hurt again and again by the same person.
Yep.
And you want to protect. And it makes sense. It's almost like this barrier between you and other people that exists so that you're not vulnerable.
Yeah, and you do want to consider that, because if you are vulnerable, you are at risk of getting hurt again.
All right. Another point that Dr. Webb makes in one of her articles is she says that this thought of why try can also be a way of avoiding unpacking certain pain or certain hurts too. This statement kind of expresses a bit of hopelessness or powerlessness, kind of that you don't have your own agency to change things. And sometimes it can be helpful in the right situations of why try. Perhaps that's in a situation if your ex was abusive, for example, or if it is an unsafe situation. You really have to ask yourself, why try? Am I going to be in an unsafe situation? But a lot of the times it could stem from growing up in an emotionally neglectful home where you didn't really have much purpose to trying something because it would have gotten shut down anyways. Your feelings,
or power to do it.
Right. Yeah, you were powerless, as a kid, or you felt powerless from your family members, where your feelings weren't seen or heard. So you kind of lost the sense of who am I and what do I want? Because your family over and over again, or your caregivers, people around you over and over and over again, instilled in you that it didn't matter for you to try. It didn't matter for you to want things because they wouldn't be fulfilled.
Or change.
Right. So you might be feeling trapped, you might be feeling stuck or lost. And to me, this thought also comes from a more avoidant attachment style type of a place of why try, why bother.
Well, yeah, because they have tried and it didn't get them anywhere. And so they kept trying and it kept not working out. And so eventually they just get to the point more and more where they give up.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. So what do you do if you continually have this thought of why try, or if you keep having these types of discouraging thoughts? The very first thing is to pay attention as to when this thought comes up. Awareness is always the first step.
Probably when something new is disappointing you.
Right. And you also want to consider what feelings are coming up around it. Is it apathy? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Hurt?
Scared?
Our feelings are messages. They tell us what we need, what we want, the direction to go in, whether we're safe or not, if we're comfortable or not. So listen to when those feelings come up. You also want to think about what you want, like I had mentioned, thinking about purpose and goals. Where do you want to see yourself? In what situation would it be worth trying? These are some questions that you need to ask yourself. And lastly, is there anything that you are avoiding? Like I mentioned, sometimes this thought can come from a place of, I don't want to deal with it, why try? we tend to think it's very, very, very important to try, especially when it comes to your mental health, because it does pay in dividends, for you, for your future generations, and for your overall wellness.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about a breakup is how much people are truly motivated to change their life and grow. If you show somebody videos about healthy relationships before their breakup, they're not going to be very interested. But once they're going through a breakup, they will watch it and they will try to absorb it and really understand, because it really puts into perspective how important our connections are, especially with that one person that we're making a priority in our life and depending upon so much. It really makes you evaluate things, how good of a partner you were, how much that person meant to you, how you maybe neglected them or took them for granted if you did. It just gives us a lot of perspective, and it makes us reevaluate our own mental health, our own connections, the things that are important to us in our life, and helps us find more balance in our life. So I love that. And what we're always trying to educate you guys on are mental health and attachment issues, so you can work through things like loss, and how your other losses in your childhood or even in your adult life are affecting each other. Like Margaret used to say, like paper clips strung together, right? So you can heal those childhood wounds and get to a place where you're more confident as an adult.
One of my favorite TikTok trends that has been happening lately, and it has been, the beginning will start with somebody being discouraged, I only ran 3 miles today or something like that. And then the next clip will be a picture of them as a kid, and it will be like, we ran 3 miles or something like that in excitement. And I love that trend, because when you think about why should we care, why should we try, yes, it's for ourselves, but it's also for our child's selves. And I think that's really beautiful. We can show up for ourselves and heal those hurts that we had.
Yep.
We as people have so much power. So just wanted to share that I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, so looking at it from a growth standpoint of how am I going to take this situation and use it to grow or change my life, that's a healthy thing. And you may feel a lot of times like not being motivated or giving up, and that's understandable. It's tough to get through a painful situation in your life. But the future is going to come. And regardless of how you may or may not plan for it, it's going to happen. So you might as well be ready in the healthiest way you can be, by staying motivated during this tough time, by focusing on how you're going to grow and change, regardless of what's happening with your ex currently. Because they might come back, even if it doesn't look like you'll ever hear from them again. Or they may not come back, and you'll meet somebody that blows you away. But you want to put yourself in position to be successful regardless, right?
And I'm thinking I think this is a Viktor Frankl quote. He talks a lot about existentialism and purpose and meaning. And one of the things he says is that it's not where there's a will, there's a way, but where there's a why, there's a way. And that to me is really important. If you do have that meaning and that purpose, then you can accomplish anything. And love is one of the most powerful motivators in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we know that many of you struggle day in, day out, trying to figure out, is this even worth it? Focusing on personal growth is always worth it. Okay? That's always the best investment that you can make, is your relationship with yourself. Because that will also extend into your relationships with other people. So, consider all the outlets that you have to get healthy and to get through a difficult time. All right, so if you'd like to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.